So we're representing I'm here talking about the data sharing connector. So I think a lot of what I'll say is pretty common to what everybody else said except this. So we started talking about this Maslow needs hierarchy thing, which is, like everybody needs food and water to survive, and then, you need safety, and then you need people who care for you, and eventually you can realize self-actualization. And we kind of realize that data sharing is just like this, in the sense that, the data sharing, to achieve this goal that we all have of this awesome collaborative, everybody's going to give their data to everybody else, and it's going to be freely available and all interoperate and blah, blah, blah. There's all these other things that you have to get before you get there. Starting with the very lowest level, like we have to collect the data, we have to store the data somewhere, we have to make the data accessible over a network, we have to be able to compute on the data, and building up this sort of layer of things to visualization, search, discovery, modeling. And I think a tension or a challenge that we have in our particular connector is that we have people all the way across this spoke or this connector who think that each one of these things is what data sharing means. And so we had a lot of discussion about what data sharing actually was, and it was a pretty good discussion. So on the questions, I think this, a lot of what this has already been said. The societal challenges we can take up in the data sharing space, I think incentives, which relates to what Chris was just talking about, is a really big challenge around how do you incentivize people to want to share their data. And it's pretty clear that there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Some people might be incentivized by other people paying them for their data set. Some people in science might be incentivized by getting a paper in a top conference. Some people might be incentivized because they want to make the world a better place. So you have to think hard about this. It's not obvious that there's a solution. And a part of this is going to be enlightening and educating people about what the benefits are and what they could do and what data is out there, and showing some use cases and studies that demonstrate the benefits of doing this. I like this term for data philanthropy and philanthropy and what can we do to facilitate it. So an idea that sort of came out of this is that a really cool thing we could do would be to, and we're thinking of making a part of the focus of our first workshop be around this idea of putting together a team of people, sort of a tiger team of people who take a specific data set or data problem and talk about how you'd address all these things in this giant stack in the context of that problem, like medical data sharing, for example, or something else. So that would obviously be in conjunction with one of the spokes or hubs. So in terms of workshops, again, we thought this would be a pretty good idea. We're proposing a workshop. We'd like to propose a workshop in summer of 2016. There's a group of us who volunteered to help organize it. I think it'll focus on data sharing, and ideally it'll focus on getting people together to sort of really talk about how they would maybe solve the data sharing problem in one or several focused application areas. So we'd love to have people from one of the spokes, application spokes, who wants to collaborate with us on this problem come talk to us. So please email me if you're interested. So, partnerships, again, I think a lot of these things have already been said. It's important. Data sharing is one of the cross-cutting things here. It's important to establish connections with the spokes. Please send us our ideas and thoughts. Obviously, there's a lot of people who might be partners in the, in the world that are out there. These large organizations like CASC, companies, technology companies like, Facebook and Google, data companies like, data organizations like, hospitals, or other things about big data sets. So what resources do we need? Again, the same stuff that people have already said, a collection of data sets, a catalog, some hosted repository of stuff I think would be really useful, administrative support for various aspects of workshops, and then it's kind of the things that other people have discussed, the communication support, putting people's names out there, helping us find people, helping us find collaborators, all that, we'd love it, please do it. And that's all.